Hi, my name is Tammy Reger, and I am a Higher Self Alchemist, and today I want to talk about divine choice. What is divine choice? Maybe you've heard of that, maybe you haven't. But throughout our whole creation, from the time we were created by Source, we were given certain abilities, certain freedoms, and one of that is choice. It goes hand in hand with our free will. This is what choice is. It is free will, our ability to choose. And we might think that free will is more like on a day-to-day thing, but it is far more than that. Every choice that you have ever made from the time that you were created may still be affecting you now. Now, that's not to scare you. That is for you to remember that part of creating your reality is making choices. And even when you think, well, I don't have a choice, that's still a choice that you're making to believe that you don't have one. But you always have free will. That is part of your gifts that Source gave you, granted to you as playing in the energy of Earth. It is a free will planet. And that is energetically represented as choice. And the thing with choice is that we can't judge the choices that we have made throughout time. It is very easy to look at your choices and think, why the hell did I do that? There's purpose to everything. There are no mistakes. Your soul is here to grow and expand. And it doesn't just grow and expand through good experiences. It grows through struggle and sacrifice just as much as it can through discovery and play. So there have been choice points that you have made throughout your history as a higher self and all the incarnations you've had into a physical body, where there have been choices that have been made that you may deem as bad. But they're not. They serve the purpose for your soul to understand that viewpoint and how that energy of that worked. Okay? So as an example, you may have chosen at some time to align with the patriarchy. Now, you may think, oh my God, why would I possibly do that? Because there was something to learn out of that. Now, it could be, I needed to walk in their shoes to understand their viewpoint so I could understand why people are so attracted to that. Or there's lessons that can be learned in there so that the soul learns and grows. So before I even go into deeper on some of the choices that may have been made all the way back in Atlantis, which is where many of these quote unquote bad choices were made that have put us where we are now, I don't want you to see them as bad, and know that by bringing them to the surface now, you can choose to change them. They are not written forever. So many of us in Atlantis made some choices that have not given us the life that we truly desire. One of peace, abundance, empowerment, happiness, joy. Instead, it's been a lot of struggle and sacrifice. When we made those choices back then, we didn't know that that's what the outcome would be. But I also can't say that if you knew that, you wouldn't have made that choice, because there's purpose to all choices. Now, some of the choices that were made in Atlantis that I've seen for myself as well as some of my clients is the choice to separate from unity consciousness and experience separation consciousness. We are currently in separation consciousness, moving to unity consciousness. And part of your choice now is to be able to choose to align to unity consciousness. Now, there may be some things that would prevent you from experiencing that choice, which I will explain in a moment. Another choice is the choice to choose to struggle and sacrifice. The choice to separate from source. The choice to align with, let's say, an earth god. So this would be all-fearing God. The choice to separate from your higher self. The choice to be poor, to not have abundance. The choice to be disempowered. There are many, 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 many millions of choices, zillions of choices that you've made since you were in Atlantis that have now crafted the reality that you find yourself in. And all those choices had purpose. Now, you can choose to change those now, because if you know how to muscle test or use a pendulum, you can find out whether or not you made those choices. But you need to make sure that you're clearing all the limiting beliefs and the trauma that you've experienced from that, because those things could prevent you from aligning to a new choice of, say, unity consciousness. Now, that is something that I do with all of my clients. We make sure that we get rid of all the trash that has accumulated from that choice so that there's no interference or resistance to the new choice. And know that even if you have that, it doesn't stop you from making a new choice now. You can make that choice now and have the universe or your higher self show you what needs to be healed in order for you to align to that new thing, that new choice, in this example, unity consciousness. But one of the questions that I get a lot with choice is, okay, I have free will choice. I made that choice to separate from unity consciousness tens of thousands of years ago. Why haven't I chosen differently since? Unfortunately, some of the choices that we have made back in Atlantis have had disastrous results. Yes, our soul has learned from it. But in that learning, we have forgotten that our choice created what we have now. We got ourselves stuck in a really low frequency, and we didn't understand that through our choice, we were creating our reality. If you are choosing not to create your reality because you don't believe that you have a choice, you're giving your power of choice to someone else, and you're basically said, I will suffer the consequences of whatever that is. And that's partially the experience of separation consciousness, this idea that what we desire is outside of ourselves, or that we are all not equal. So for tens of thousands of years, you made these choices that totally changed the landscape of your reality. And the farther you went down that rabbit hole, the farther away you got from remembering who you really were, what your true power was, what your true potential was, and your power of choice. You didn't understand that, or remember that in a past life you chose to separate from unity consciousness or source, and now you're experiencing the repercussions of that, the manifestation of that. And again, I'm not looking to tell you that it's bad. It has a purpose. Remember, your soul wanted to experience that for some reason. The unintended consequences are that in that, you forgot that your choice created it to begin with. And now, as part of the rising of the energy on this planet, we're being asked to remember how to consciously choose. Many of us make choices today subconsciously. We don't even know you're making a choice. It just runs through your subconscious program and it's done. And whatever action you've taken, the choice has been made by your beliefs, your emotional triggers, your vows and contracts. Now we're being asked to remember our conscious choice, which is how things worked before we got ourselves into some of these choices that took us away from that. And to see all the possibilities of the different choices that we have around us. They're always there. But if you're not used to looking for them, you're not going to see them. You have to start be willing to see the possibilities and opportunities around you that you may not have looked before because you didn't think that you had any choice, but you do. And the universe and source and your higher self are always showing you that you have a choice. You don't have to suffer and struggle anymore. You can choose to thrive. And in that, you can ask your higher self or source to show you how that works and what opportunities and possibilities are around you that can make that happen. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It can happen quick. I've seen this with myself as well as with my clients. They change their choice and things just start to happen. Now, there's one other thing I want to talk about with choice. So you have free will that I am now calling divine choice. When you make a choice, whether it's now or all the way back in Atlantis or Lemuria or wherever, you call in all of the people, the opportunities that would make that your reality so that you can experience your choice. Every one of the people that you would claim were bad were just people who were coming in to play the role that you asked to experience through your choice. This is why there's no blame. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't forgive them, because you should really do that, because without it, that emotional trigger will live on. But you're not attracting anybody to you to punish you or to limit you. You are only attracting those through the choices that you've made of the experience that you wanted to have during a lifetime. And I've talked in previous videos that a lot of the same souls that were in Atlantis, were in ancient Egypt, were in Rome, and other different parts of Europe, and then in the United States. And that's because we still have those same choices running from back then. So those same people got to show up because they're playing the role in order for that play that you have created to play out. They're part of the actors or actresses on that stage with you to act out the choice you made. And when you make that choice, or you change your choice, those people either disappear or they will change into different people because now their role has changed. Your life is nothing but a play or a book. You are not necessarily the character in the book. You are the writer. And in writing, you choose what you want your experience to be. And in that, you are energetically connecting to the people who have agreed to make that reality true for you. And this is really powerful during the times we're in now, not only remembering that we have this conscious choice and that the universe is always conspiring to make our lives better, but we have to make the right choices to allow that to happen. If you are wishing to have abundance or peace or success, that can be your choice, but you cannot dwell on what has been in the past or blame others for that, because they were just playing a role in the play that you created when you made that choice, whenever that was. And when we start to look at choice, we really start to see that we do create our reality. And through these choices, we're building a set of characters who then play that experience out in our reality. You wrote the book, you can change it. Time for a new version of you, where you make different choices. You choose to experience unity consciousness. You choose to experience limitlessness. You choose to align with source, your higher self, your soul's path. You choose to let go of struggle and sacrifice. You choose to stop hustling and grinding. And you choose to just be and see how easy it is. Choose it for not to be hard. Those are all within your wheelhouse to do. It is your gift from source to choose differently. And it's so important during this time. And there's been other times when it's just as important, but we didn't remember that we had a choice. We thought that we were at the mercy of those actors and our play to do their bidding versus us understanding that we wrote the play. And because we wrote the play, we can change the script. So where do you want to make different choices? You know, those big ones that I talked about in the beginning about choosing to align with unity consciousness. Use a pendulum or a muscle test, whatever way you prefer, and see if you've made choices in Atlantis that are limiting your ability to experience the greatest version of your life now. Many of us have, and the same with any of the other predominant lifetime experience you've had, meaning where most of your past life trauma shows up. For me and many of my clients, that's Atlantis, a little bit of Lemuria, but Atlantis, ancient Egypt, the fall of ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh time, going into like Celtic, Roman with Jesus, and then into the US. But there's many different civilizations or ancient civilizations on the planet. You could be connected to any of them. So you get to choose. You're not stuck. There's no stuck. You're only stuck because you don't understand that it is your choice that is driving the bus. No one else driving the bus, you are. You may have chosen to give someone else control of controlling that bus, but now you get to choose differently. So play with that. I would, if you are brave enough, put some of the choices that you've made down below that you want to change now. And I only ask you to do that. It's not for me. I want you to maybe post something that someone else goes, oh, I wonder if I made that choice. Because we all have similarities in some of the choices that we've made, especially something like the unity consciousness or separating from source. I find many of us have done that. And when you put them in the comments, other people can see them, and then they themselves can be like, oh, gee, did I make that choice? And then they can choose differently. And this is how we change the world, through your choice, you remembering that you are the writer of the play, not a character. There's no victimhood in this. It is not the world against you. You are writing your reality through choice. So it's time to take that power back by making better conscious choices going forward, but also heal the ones that you've made tens of thousands or thousands of years ago that are affecting you today. Because here's the thing with choice, there is no end date, which means when you make that choice in a lifetime, it doesn't just end when you pass and reincarnate in the next one, it comes with you. And then it compounds over time, making things worse potentially, or maybe a little better, depending on the choices. And now you can take all those bundles of choices, the ones that are working for you, and then the ones are working against you, and change the ones that are working against you so that you have choices that are in alignment with the true play you want to experience. Again, post the choices below. Any questions about choice, drop them below, and I will see you next time on the next video. Bye for now.